It's February 2nd, 2026, 3:03 a.m. Case number 25-CR-276-3G. They changed this to a F. And on December 16th, they said, Kel Brock told me that Judge Lorianne, whose middle name's not on this, recused out of bias a letter to Fernley Courts from Judge Camille Vecchiarelli transferring my case because Judge Camille found themselves to be biased against me. And in October 28th, they sent me a court date for December 30th when they told me the court date was December 16th. That's right. And it was sent to my email 0lizziesec1@gmail.com for December 30th when they had written on a pink slip that it was December 16th. So I sent that Fernley Courts email, a fiat justitia, a bunch of emails that I've been sending out to everyone. And then December 16th, Kel Brock tells me that they were going to close this 3G on a misdemeanor until I sent them emails. I think a framing happened. Somebody hijacked my emails to the court, added a bunch of something nasty to the emails, spoofed my IP. I'm not sure if Stephanie Jammerman at Canal Court was involved or if it was Jeremy Silva at 2027 Lonnie Lane with the Photo Dad license plate. I suspect he's been jamming nasty photos in the neighbor's garbage cans, including Joshua Swanick across the street from him, which Joshua Swanick lives next to a Joshua Cox, who Joshua Cox filed a restraining order on me at January 2025 through Judge Camille Vecchiarelli. And this TPO restraining order was filed on me by Julia Ann Bice at 2030 Lonnie Lane. And then this Camille Vecchiarelli recused out of bias after I was arrested twice off of this restraining order that Camille Vecchiarelli approved. Then Camille recuses out of bias, forwards it to Judge Lorianne Matthias, but doesn't put Lorianne Matthias' middle name on there. Judge Lorianne Matthias has been colluding with Julianne Bice across the street, and I think Judge Lorianne Matthias might have been conspiring harm on another judge in this county. They would just rather have me sacrifice these things said, and the pressure's off Camille Vecchiarelli. Just let me get lionized in prison there. When Camille Vecchiarelli has revealed that Judge Lorianne Matthias is biased and Kel Brock is biased, he's going to refer me to a doctor named Susan Loring. My mother's name is Susan Jean Laurie Dunn, which, by the way, Susan filed a restraining order on me through this Judge Camille Vecchiarelli in 2022 and named Julia Bice and Jean Malone on it as witnesses against me. And then they filed a restraining order on me in 2024. And in 2025, June, Susan Dunn, my mother, files a restraining order on Julianne Bice, and Judge Camille Vecchiarelli lets it go for 30 days and it's canceled. And this judge, after I did a trade-in, I did a phone trade-in with the Google Pixel 9 for a Google Pixel 10, beginning of September. This judge, Camille Vecchiarelli at Dayton Township Justice Court, recuses out of bias on October 15th. And I don't hear from Kel Brock until October 20th. I never met him a day in my life. I went to Ray Arashenko at the Dayton Township. Ray Arashenko, I'm not sure about. He kind of, I don't know. But Kel Brock is definitely biased. And he represented Troy Driver, who did not suicide at Brad Pope's Lyon County Jail in Nevada. He was strangled to death by a trustee because Naomi Irion, who was murdered by Troy Driver, Naomi Irion's father, Hervey Irion, is a diplomat to Ukraine from South Africa. They're covering up a connection to the Ukrainian war and NATO. They want me dead now. Embellishing charges, they plant false evidence. This is a very crooked judge that needs to repent. In the Justice Court of Dayton Township in and for the County of Lyon, State, Nevada, filed October 15, 12:37 p.m. State of Nevada, plaintiff versus William Francis Dunn IV, recusal and order of appointment, defend pursuant to the provisions of Nevada revised statutes 1.230, and inasmuch as there may be actual or implied bias, the undersigned judge of Dayton Township Justice Court, County of Lyon, State of Nevada, does hereby recuse herself from the above entitled matter. It is hereby ordered that Judge Lori Ann, be and hereby appointed to preside over the above entitled matter. The case is hereby transferred to Canal Township Justice Court for further proceedings. The next court date will be held 595 Silver Lace Boulevard, Fernley, Nevada, October 28th at 8 a.m. Dated this 15th day of October 2025. Kel Brock, I did not get an email till 5 days later on October 20th. Kel Brock let this sit for 5 days. In my email records, I didn't get a notification. Kel sent me an email October 20th. He let it go for 5 days. And he didn't tell me that a Class C felony, which is this, is 1 to 5 years. And he wanted to blow through this in 15 days from October 28th. And now I've been tossed to arraignment to Judge John Schlegelmilk. Still haven't seen any new charges. Kel Brock is in a hurry. He's not, and no matter what I upload to the internet, it does get back to him. He gaslights, he deflects. He still hasn't shown me anything. Crystal told me Friday they would be sending me an email of the new case that's against me, and nothing. I've heard nothing back from Crystal, who told me on the phone, these people are very vindictive. They're abusing law. They're spin doctoring in behind the scenes. They need to repent from corrupting law, from being biased towards their clients. You know they're guilty, you speak the truth on their behalf. You go for leniency. If you know they're not guilty, you speak the truth on their behalf to the judge. Kel Brock does not do that. Case number 24 PO 01163G, PO REC NO 311-979 240 oh God 11219. They changed these numbers. Filed in the Justice Court of Dayton Township, July 24th, 3 p.m. 3:12 p.m. County of Lyon, State of Nevada. Justice Julia Ann Bice, applicant, versus William Francis Dunn IV, adverse party, temporary protection order against stalking and harassment. Expiration: the order was issued by the court above on July 2nd, 2024, and will expire on August 16, 2024 at 11:50 p.m. unless court orders otherwise. Hearing to extend. There's no hearing scheduled. The applicant filed a verified application for a protective order. The court has jurisdiction over this matter. See NRS 205.591 at 6. The court finds that stalking, aggravated stalking, or harassment has occurred accordingly in good cause appearing. See is the order of the court that the following orders apply to the adverse party. You are prohibited from threatening, physically injuring, or harassing. God, isn't everybody like daily prohibited from such? Anyway, harassing the applicant and or the following persons, protected parties. The following persons are protected under this order. Julia Ann Bice, Lori Ann Matthias, Canal Justice Court, Department 1. This is bias. They don't like what I'm saying about the Vatican, and they had Julia Ann Bice start their stupid shenanigans from their front yard. And they stalked me at the mailbox one day after the restraining order and their Ford Explorer, since they've gotten rid of since then. They can do whatever they want to me, say whatever they want. And because of this restraining order, I cannot say anything back to them. This court is out of line. It has meddled. And whatever, Camille Vecchiarelli, yes, Lori Ann Matthias meddles, and other judges' cases, they have. Department 1, Justice of the Peace, case number 25CR2763G, Justice of the Peace, October 15, 2025. This is a recusal letter from Judge Camille forwarding it to Lori Ann Matthias Bias. Under Lori Ann Matthias conspires harm on other judges. You conspire harm on people in your community, then you are. If a judge makes a ruling that you disagree with, you backstab behind the scenes, you get in the ear of the people that they know. not to reason with them, but to conspire harm towards other people in your community, you need to repent, Lorianne Matthias, from corrupting law, corrupting the justice courts. Judge Lorianne Matthias is hereby that Judge Lorianne Matthias be and hereby appointed to preside over the above entitled matter. The case is hereby transferred to Canal Township Justice Court for further proceedings. The next court date will be held at 595 Silver Lace Boulevard, Fernley, Nevada on October 20th, 2025. Now I'm on to the third judge in this county. I think there's 4 total. Judge Lorianne Matthias Matthews serves as a Justice of the Peace for Canal Township Justice Court, elected in 2018, where she was appointed to serve as juvenile hearing master by the 2nd Judicial District Court from 2016 to 2022. Prior to this, she held the position of Fernley Municipal Court Judge, a position she continued to hold as Senior Municipal Court Judge. She began her career with the Nevada Judiciary in 1992 by serving as a civil clerk for Dayton Township Justice Court. During her career, she has had the honor of working as a court clerk for the Canal Township Justice Court, 3rd Judicial District Court. She has also served as a deputy court clerk and judicial assistant to the probate commissioner in the 2nd Judicial District Court. Lyon County Sheriff's arrests Fernley man for possession of meth. Kel Brock was representing this Justin Johnson on October 28, 2025 at the Canal Justice Court, Township Justice Court. Sat in front of me, a row in front of me. August 30th, 2025, KTVN 2 News Nevada, 35-year-old Justin Johnson was arrested after being seen attempting to ride a motorcycle while appearing intoxicated. Justinian was also known as Justinian the Great, was a Roman emperor from 527 to 565. His reign was marked by the ambitious but only partly realized Rinnovato Imperii, or restoration of the empire. This ambition was expressed by the partial recovery of the territories of the defunct Western Roman Empire. His general Belisarius swiftly conquered the Vandal kingdom in North Africa. Subsequently, Belisarius, Narses, and other generals conquered the Ostrogothic kingdom, restoring Dalmatia, Sicily, Italy, and Rome to the empire after more than half a century of rule by the Ostrogoths. The Praetorian prefect Liberius reclaimed the south of the Iberian Peninsula, establishing the province of Hispania. These campaigns reestablished Roman control over the western Mediterranean, increasing the empire's annual revenue by over 1 million soldi. During his reign, Justinian also subdued the Sani, a people on the east coast of the Black Sea that had never been under Roman rule before. He engaged the Sassanian Empire in the east during Kavad's reign, and later, again during Khosrow's first reign. This second conflict was partially initiated due to his ambitions in the Iron Sheik, the wrestler. His name was Khosrow. Justin Portal Welby, born January 6, 1956, is a retired Anglican bishop who served as the 105th Archbishop of Canterbury in the Church of England from 2013 to 2025. In Hebrew, the word seraph means burning, used 7 times throughout the text of the Hebrew Bible as a noun, usually to denote serpent, twice in the book of Numbers, once in the book of Deuteronomy, and 4 times in the book of Isaiah. Dame Sarah Elizabeth Mullally, born Bowser, 26 March 1962, is an English Anglican prelate and former nurse. She has been the Bishop of London since 2018 and is the first woman to hold this office. By virtue of her office, she is also Lord Spiritual, one of the 26 Church of England bishops who sit in the House of Lords of Parliament. The United Kingdom, October 3rd, 2025, was announced that Mullally would become the 106th Archbishop of Canterbury. In January 2026, she will be the first woman to hold the office. All Saints Church is an active English-speaking chaplaincy of the Church of England's diocese in Europe, part of the Anglican Communion in Rome, Italy. The Church of Scotland, the Kirk of Scotland, is a Presbyterian denomination of Christianity that holds the status of the national church in Scotland. Canon Law 666, in the use of means of social communication, necessary discretion is to be observed, and those things are to be avoided which are harmful to one's vocation and dangerous to the chastity of a consecrated person. Title II, Religious Institutes, Canon Law 607 to 709, Code of Canon Law, the Vatican. 666 in brackets, number 6. On the side of the Superior General that will aid toward this union of hearts are the qualities of his person, G in brackets, will be treated in Part 9, with which he will perform his office, which is to be for all the members a head, from which the influence required for the end sought by the society ought to descend to them all. It is thus from the general as head that all authority of the provincials should flow, from the provincials that of the local superiors, and from the local superiors that of individual members, and from the same head, or at least by his commission and approval, should likewise come the appointing of missions, and the same should apply to communicating the graces of the society. For the more the subjects are dependent upon their superiors, the better will the love, obedience, and union among them be preserved. Bondage to Pharaoh. The constitutions of the Society of Jesus and their complementary norms, complete English translation of the official Latin text, the Institute of Jesuit Sources, St. Louis, 1996, Trump Vance meet with Pope Leo XIV, Florida brother, Major MAGA fan at the White House. President Donald Trump met with Pope Leo XIV's brother, Louis Prevost, at the White House. A papal renunciation, also called a papal abdication, occurs when the current pope of the Catholic Church voluntarily resigns his position as a pope, conventionally holds the office for life. A papal renunciation is an uncommon event. Louis Prevost, Louis Sacco is the next to be pope, elected by 2028 at the Vatican, when the American Pope from Chicago, Illinois, Pope Leo XIV, retires. This Pope is from Baghdad. Louis Sacco is from Baghdad, the region that was Babylon. This is what the Iraqi war was about, Desert Storm, all that, was to get Saddam Hussein out of the way for Louis Sacco to be elected Pope at the Vatican to control America. Is Chaldean Catholic prelate who has served as Patriarch of Baghdad since February 1st, 2013. Pope Francis made him a cardinal on June 28th, 2018. Metropolitan of Messenia, the joint declaration of Patriarch Bartholomew and Pope Leo XIV, the historic call for peace and Christian unity by Bill Giannopoulos. Metropolitan Chrysotomos of Messenia has described as a historic moment, signing the joint declaration between Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew and Pope Leo XIV in Constantinople. I think this is, back in November 30th. Archons, Romanized archon, and Gnosticism and religions closely related to it are the builders of the physical universe. Archpache, a synod of the bishops of the Chaldean Catholic Church meeting in Baghdad, elected Sacco Archpache of Kirkuk, Charlie Kirk, on 24th October 2002. Pope John Paul II, Charlie Kirk is either a relative of John Paul II or is a secret son of Pope John Paul II, Carl. Carl was his name. Carl and Charles share the same etymological root. Gave his assent on September 27th, 2003. September 27th, 1540 is the founding of the Society of Jesus. And those Jesuit constitutions were printed in St. Louis, Missouri. Cardinal Louis Sacco is going to be the next pope and was at war with Pope John Paul II. He received his episcopal consecration on November 14, 2003 from his predecessor in Kirkuk, Andre Sana. Prince Andrew, Andre and Andrew are the same name meaning. And there's Judge Lorianne Matthias, the Sarah Mullally, and Cardinal Louis Sacco shaking hands with Pope Leo XIV. This guy's going to be the next pope after Leo XIV retires. Robert Francis retires by 2028. It's 3:22 a.m., February 2nd, 2026.